we're back. We've got our jig back out. We're missing the holes down here, obviously. So we put our story pole up. Put the jig out. So we need holes 2 and 3 up from the bottom. They're going to be the ones we want. And we need to drill all 6 of these cabinets. These screws we're using, I got them off Amazon. They are as you can tell by the little lines, and I don't know, I'm pretty sure the camera will pick those up. They're a posi drive. They look like a Phillips, but they're not a Phillips. I do have a bit that is for these. You can also buy drivers, but if you use a Phillips with them, it will kind of work, but it doesn't work really great for torquing them down, and it makes it pretty easy to mess up the end of them. So I highly recommend you get the right bit or get a driver for them. And because these are going into this melamine board, which is basically particle board, I'm doing them by hand instead of using a driver to prevent over tightening. So there we go, our 3 hinges all in the middle of our pole where we want them. So then when we bring the door over here, it should just line right up. They go on like so. We'll get the vacuum over here and clean these up, and we'll get the other 6 of them drilled out and ready to go. And then we've got these hinges off of Amazon for our cabinets out here in the garage, and we've got a bit of a hiccup. Is, you know, we've drilled holes up inside the cabinets, and these are soft close hinges. They're the right hinge. This is the part that goes on the cabinet. This part attaches to the door. We've drilled those out. We've got these screws that fit into the holes that we've drilled. The screws to attach these to the doors do not go through, but these are threaded to fit.
Where are you going?
In these holes here and hold the hinge in place. And the spacing is the proper spacing for these hinges.
From the jig that you used.
From the jig we used,
okay.
The European spacing. So we need to enlarge these holes. So what I've done, we've got a 1/4 inch drill bit. I built a little jig that they will fit in like that, so I don't have to hold them with my fingers. We drill down, we crank it over, we drill the next one. I'll drill one, show you what we're doing. We won't show you drilling all of them. So we're just going to go through, pop that one out, pop the next one in.
And you're just cranking the vise to put it over in the next spot.
Yeah, I've got a drill press vise. So those two are ready to go. Got a drill press vise underneath here. This is just a piece of scrap wood. We put a couple pieces of those on there. Attach the piece underneath to just kind of lock it into place here, so that we can just go real quick and have repeatability and not have to worry about it. So that's where we're at. We're gonna get the rest of these drilled, and then we'll come back when we're actually attaching the hinges to the doors, and then attaching these up to the cabinets and attaching the doors. So what we're doing, we're going to cut the doors, and we can get the doors for one cabinet, 6 doors out of each sheet. So we've got them up here. We're using this to cut into and give us some support while we're over the table saw on our little stand here. So we're going to mark them 16
And a quarter.
and a quarter. So we're marking 16 and a quarter, which is our cut line. We're coming back 1 and a quarter, which is the edge of the saw. And yeah, we could do the math, but I'm lazy. Where's our edge?
This way.
at? Hand me that, Tristan. Go around the other side there. This is a piece of leftover racking from when we did the solar installation. Gravity plant there, the big one goes on the bottom, and you're
Right on top.
right on top of the line. Okay, so now you're going to turn the vacuum on, and I'm going to cut, and you're going to vacuum. Grab your end, you're going to hold it up. Here is where all the stuff comes out. Over here. So as you can see, go ahead and kill the vacuum. We've tried multiple different blades on the table saw. With the job site saw, we just can't square it up and hold it straight enough to get straight cuts. So we're cutting these this way. We went and picked up these Diablo blades yesterday at Home Depot, on a 2-for-1 deal. And you can see they're leaving us a nice clean edge when we cut them. Our cabinet height is 48 inches. These are 49. We'll come back later with the cross-cut sled on the table saw and just trim these to height for our doors. And we're marking them with painter's tape so we know which one is which. And we will just continue on down. We're not going to bore you showing you how we cut each one, but wanted to make sure we were demonstrating what we're doing again. Just we're back. We've got our door pieces have all been cut. The melamine sheets come in a 49-inch width. Our cabinets are 48, so we need to just trim an inch off the ends of these. So we're going to do that now. We're going to do that on the table saw here with the cross-cut sled. So we're going to set this up. Our 48. Put a stop here so I don't have to measure every one. So that's the procedure we're going to follow. I'll do one more and do it right. That gives us our 48 across there. And it's a lot easier with young people, as you can see.
Team Klutzy at it again.
So, all right, so we're getting ready to drill the holes for the hinges for the doors. We're going to use this jig. It's what we used on the other cabinets. It worked really well. It lets us get these done pretty quickly once we get it all set up. So we're going to combine the jig. I have a drill bit that goes through these little holes. Those are for the 2 screws that will hold the hinge. And then we will also drill the larger hole that the hinge goes into. And this part will attach into our holes inside the cabinet. I wrapped a piece of tape around the drill bit so that I don't drill clear through my material when we're drilling these holes. So we're going to chuck that up in one drill. And then the other one we'll put in the other drill so that we don't have to keep swapping back and forth. This has a stop. It'll only let you drill it so deep. And it will go on here, and then we turn and lock it, and then we drill. And it lines us up in the right spot every time. The jig has markings on it. And what we've done is we've created, I believe they call these a story pole. It's 48 inches. Arrows on it for the top. And we have previously set all the adjustments on this so that we know we're going to end up in the right spot. Stop bottomed out. These actually work a lot better when we have the vacuum going, but my camera person
Can't vacuum at the same time as I'm holding this camera.
The holes that we pre-drilled, they go in like that. And we've got 2 screws in each one. It helped if I put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. So those attach like that. The other thing that we realize that we need to do still is we need to drill our holes for our handles. So we're gonna find the handles and then we'll come back, we'll drill those. Our jig, we're doing our holes for our handles. And we have our jig set up. This goes along the bottom edge, line this one up with the edge, and that's where our knobs are going. And we've confirmed that with our other ones. We are drilling a 5/32 hole. Like that.
These were knobs that were in my kitchen. I didn't like them, so I got new pretty ones. I think they're going out here.
Out of 6 doors, 1 actually fits kind of good. That would be this one over here. This one here, as you can see, is hanging down, and we've had to mess with all of them to get them to work. So this one we're going to need to trim this edge and the bottom edge to square it up. We're not going to worry about trying to line up the top. We had a huge issue with our 2 middle ones that apparently we measured wrong. When we have both doors up there, the gap was even bigger than this. So we actually pulled one of them over here just to see if this wider door, and because the measurements were kind of close, and see if we could get them close enough that we could adjust them with the hinges. We can't. Welcome back. We're back out in the garage working on the cabinets. And Christy and I were actually out here yesterday working, and we got a little bit done. If you look, you can see we've got a couple doors hung. As we've shown you previously, we've hit some snags with the doors not fitting right. On the other side over here, we did get this one done. We have not drilled it for the handle yet. And we've kind of been marking the doors that don't fit, and okay, what do we need to trim? And most of them we're having to trim anywhere from about a 1/16 to 3/16 of an inch off of one edge, sometimes off of 2 edges. This one here, we got a bit of a dip in the ceiling, so we're going to trim the top off of this door as well. And we've just kind of been going along in these middle ones. We're going to have to cut some new doors, but we've got some pieces, and we're going to probably end up hanging one door on one side and making the doors a little bit longer, so they're going to not be exactly the same sizes, but they're garage cabinets, and that I don't want to waste material, so we're going to live with that. That being said, and we didn't film any of that, and I apologize. We're really just trying to get this behind us. So we were over here, and we've been using this piece of solar panel racking as a straight edge. We clamp it, and we've been running the skill saw along the side of it. And this is the one I just wanted to trim a little bit more than a 1/16, not quite an 1/8 of an inch. Skill saw in my hand, and so I just set the blade against the edge and marked it front and rear, and hopefully the camera picks this up, but if you look, and I can show you with the tape measure. So this one, the line there is at about 1.5 inches, and this one here, you know, it's 1 3/8. And so we were like scratching our heads, and so I dropped the blade all the way down in the saw, put it up again, and I got a different set of marks because I think I wasn't holding it quite right the first time. But what we've concluded is all this time this distance here and this distance here are not the same. So my saw is not sitting straight on the base. And consequently, it's making wider cuts than it needs to. It's causing it to bind, I would imagine, causing all sorts of problems. So we're going to take some time right now. I haven't checked to see if there's a video, but there's got to be a way to square this up. I do not get on YouTube and look for instructions.
He bit it with a hammer.
I checked by loosening up the screws here. They seem to just hold the magnesium plate to the steel frame that's attached to the saw that allows it to raise up and the pivot and all that. So what I did is I lined up my saw blade edge here. I made a mark on my board and I ran it across. The back was over this way, so I used a precision recalibration instrument, applied some force right here judiciously. After about 3 tries, we got it where it now rides pretty straight all the way through across this mark we made here. I don't know if she's capturing that or not. I'm pushing the board, but it's much better. When we started, it was lined up in the front and the back was a good 1/8 of an inch over it, which is just playing havoc with our cuts.
So somewhere along the way we dropped the saw.
We did. Somebody that's borrowed it has. I don't know. We don't care. So it should cut straighter now. It should cut easier. As you can see, we've got all the doors on. They're
finally even.
Varying degrees of not being straight. Got this side finished as well. So we're back out here today to get the knobs put on all the doors. Put the little clear bumper things, even though they're soft close, we want these just kind of protect the doors themselves. And then we have these white that will go on the ends to cover up where the screws hold the ends in. So we're using the jig, and pretty straightforward to put the knobs on. The jig, we've got it set up. It's adjustable. So we've got it, so we just line it up here. And then I did have my finger down below where the drill bit's coming through so that I wouldn't drill into my finger.
Thank you.
You should be careful of that sort of thing. Previously, we had attached again, these cabinets are not so great, but
they serve a
strong.
purpose.
They look better than nothing. Look better than